You think you need words to understand someone. You don't. You never did. Your ancestors proved that for 200,000 years before the first word was ever spoken. And the system they built was so precise, so layered, so deeply human that we still use most of it today. Right now, somewhere in the forests of Central Africa, a chimpanzee mother is watching her infant reach toward a scorpion. She doesn't speak. She doesn't warn. She doesn't make a sound. She just moves, and the infant stops. That gesture is estimated to be more than 6 million years old. It predates our species entirely, and it is the oldest thread in a system so ancient, so embedded in what we are, that most of us have spent our entire lives using it without ever asking where it came from. In 2003, primatologist Michael Tomasello at the Max Planck Institute published research that dismantled everything scientists thought they knew about the origins of human communication. He spent years comparing the spontaneous gestures of great apes with those of human infants not yet old enough to speak. And he found one difference. Human infants point at things. Chimpanzees do not. That sounds trivial, but it isn't. Pointing is not just a gesture. It is a declaration that says, I know that you have a mind. I know that you can look where I am looking. And I want to share this with you. No other species does this naturally. Not dolphins, not elephants, not our closest genetic relatives. Only us. Tomasello called it shared intentionality, the ability to understand that another mind exists and to deliberately reach into it. This is what separated early humans from every other creature that has ever lived. Not language, not tools, not fire. The moment one human looked at another and understood there was something going on behind those eyes. Everything else was just a matter of time. And here is what nobody tells you. That moment happened at least 200,000 years before the first word was ever spoken. Which means your ancestors spent 200,000 years, longer than all of recorded history multiplied by 20, communicating without language. And they weren't fumbling through it. They had built what researchers now call multimodal communication, a system that used everything: the face, the hands, the body, the breath, the pressure of a hand on a shoulder, the smell of fear before anyone showed it on their face, all of it running simultaneously, all of it precise. In 2009, Robin Dunbar at Oxford University published findings that stopped the field cold. Up to 93% of emotional communication between humans is nonverbal. That means if two people are in the same room, words are carrying only 7% of the message. We didn't build language and then add everything else. We built everything else first. Language came last. Picture a hunting party, 12 people, open grassland, Ethiopia, 150,000 years ago. One hunter freezes. Every person behind him freezes with him, not because he said a word, but because his body said it. In a language, every one of them was born already knowing. Weight shifted backward, breath slowed, eyes locked. 12 people became one in less than a second against the incoming danger, and the reason that was possible goes deeper than instinct. In 2010, Giacomo Rizzolatti at the University of Parma published 2 decades of research on mirror neurons, cells in the human brain that fire not only when you perform an action, but when you watch someone else perform it. When you see someone flinch, your brain flinches. When you watch someone grieve, something in your brain begins to grieve with them. You cannot stop it. It is older than decision. Rizzolatti believed mirror neurons were the neurological foundation of human empathy, the mechanism that allowed early humans to feel what others felt before language existed to describe it. You didn't need to be told someone was in pain. You felt it the moment you saw it. In 1972, psychologist Paul Ekman traveled to the remote highlands of Papua New Guinea, communities completely isolated from the outside world. He showed them photographs of strangers, Western faces expressing fear, disgust, anger, joy, sadness, surprise. They identified every single one correctly. Ekman's conclusion was unambiguous. At least 6 core facial expressions are biologically universal, not learned, not cultural, encoded into the human face before birth. Your face has been telling the truth since long before you learned how to lie with words. And then there was touch. In 2010, Dacher Keltner at UC Berkeley ran a fascinating experiment. He asked strangers to communicate 12 distinct emotions, using only touch on the forearm, no words, no visible expressions, just skin. The results were astonishing. Accuracy ranged between 48 and 83%. Touch communicates emotion with a precision that often exceeds words. Your ancestors lived in groups, sleeping next to each other, grieving together, hunting so close they could feel each other's heartbeats change. Touch was not a supplement to communication. It was the infrastructure of it. We built walls, we built cubicles, we built a civilization designed to keep human bodies apart. And then we wondered why everyone feels so alone. But perhaps the deepest channel in this ancient system is the one we suppress the most: scent. In 2012, researchers at the Monell Chemical Senses Center in Philadelphia made a surprising discovery. Humans can identify close genetic relatives by scent alone. Mothers can identify their newborns within hours of birth, by smell only. And the emotional states we carry, fear, stress, grief, calm, release specific chemical compounds. Compounds that other humans can detect without any awareness that they are detecting anything at all. You have walked into a room and known something was wrong before a single word was spoken. That was not intuition. That was chemistry. That was 300,000 years of your ancestors, reading invisible information floating through the air around them, information that helped keep them alive. We didn't lose this ability. We buried it. We did not invent communication when we invented language. We narrowed it. We took a system that used the whole body, every sense, every channel, and compressed it into a thin stream of syllables. We know that language is extraordinary. It built everything you can see from where you're sitting right now. But compression always has a cost. And that cost is loneliness. In 2023, the US Surgeon General declared loneliness a global health epidemic. Researchers at Brigham Young University found that chronic loneliness increases the risk of early death by 26%. That's equal to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Think about that for a moment. We are the most word-saturated species in the history of this planet. And yet, we are lonelier than at any point in recorded history. Why? Because words were never the foundation of human connection. They were always just the surface of it. Beneath every conversation you have ever had, beneath every relationship you have ever built, something much older has been doing the real work, reading faces, feeling rooms, sensing things you couldn't explain and didn't need to. That system is still in there, still running, still reaching toward the people around you in ways your words will never quite manage. You just stopped paying attention to it. And the most expensive thing that silence ever cost us wasn't information, it was each other.